Yeah. I need it.
Metro Boomin want some more.
Cause I got a really big team, and they need some really big rings. They need some really nice things. Better be coming with no strings. Better be coming with no strings. We need some really nice things. We need some really big rings. I got a really big team. I got a really big team.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of She's Mic'd Up, your favorite local sports show, coming to you live from Brooklyn College Radio, 1090 AM. I'm one of your hosts, Sam Rodriguez.
What's going on? Javier Gutierrez here.
Jason Fernandez, hello.
And always, we will be bringing you the hottest topics in the world of sports, including our top 5 plays, performances of the week. You can tweet us at She's Mic'd Up Radio to tweet us and guess which you think is our number one pick. And if you get it wrong, there's a problem because it's a clear number one. But also, you can tweet us any comments, questions you'd like answered on the air, or if, like myself, you prefer speaking on the phone, you could do that as well. Just dial 718-951-4444 and we'll get to you on the air. Let's get into it. So the situation on Peyton Manning announcing his retirement hasn't really progressed, but we'll keep you updated on that. What has progressed, however, is the situation involving the big fella Mo Wilkerson and the New York Jets. The Jets have decided to franchise tag the defensive end rather than allowing another team to scoop him up in free agency, though I think they haven't officially announced that decision yet, but it should be coming today before 4 p.m. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right, actually.
All right. Now, if you don't recall, in the last season's awful finale against the Bills, Wilkerson broke his leg, but if he recovers well, hopefully, the Jets will be making a good run for the playoffs. But what does this mean for Damon Harrison, arguably one of the league's best defensive tackle and an important puzzle piece for making this team a contender? So it seems there are a few choices. I'm going to run them down. You tell me what you guys think is more likely here. The Jets can still trade Wilkerson. They can tag and trade him, which I think would be a pretty dumb move, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Exactly. It's pretty ill-advised, but they can clear space that way, and that money would obviously go to paying Harrison. Or they can renegotiate with Harrison, who has said that he's not money hungry, though he will probably be offered a lot of money, a lot more money than he made in his first 4 seasons with the Jets. He said he loves winning more than money, and he really believes the Jets are heading in a direction that he wants to be a part of. So what do you think? Do you think he'll take the money and run, or do you think he'll be able to work something out with the Jets and stay with a team that he clearly thinks can be a contender, if not this season or the seasons following?
I don't know. I feel like we've seen enough in the league to know that players usually go for the money regardless. But, I mean, I do think he wants to be part of a contending team, and if he really does feel like the Jets are going to be able to make it far or into the playoffs, then I think he might stay. But it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure which one he's going to do. But I know that the Jets definitely shouldn't trade Wilkerson.
No, for sure.
That'll just be a mistake on their end. For
sure. And it just seems unlikely, too, because if they did, other teams would not only have to play Wilkerson or whoever would take him in, would not only have to pay him, but then they would have to give the Jets draft picks, too, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a really big asking price. So it seems likely that that's not going to happen. He's going to be a Jet next year. Still waiting on official news of that franchise tag being official.
That tag is worth $15.7 million.
Yes. A lot of bread. It's a lot of bread. But there's a lot of free agents the Jets have. Chris Ivory is one of them.
I think they should let him go and get Matt Forte. I think Matt Forte would be a good fit for that offense. Sorry to jump in like that.
No. We want you to jump in, Jason. Don't apologize for speaking your mind. Speak your mind. Go ahead.
But, I mean, he's a free agent. He's 30 years old, and he still has it. He could receive from the back. He's just like Chris Ivory, but healthier.
But healthier. Okay, so really and he's 3 years older than Ivory as well. Ivory's 27.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to just keep Chris Ivory then?
Because he was very injury prone this year. He wasn't so effective as the season went on.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Chris Ivory's still younger, and I think he still has more upside to him.
Well, I don't know either, too, if it was that he wasn't effective. I just think that the Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Fitz connection was really working well together.
Well, I guess they could keep both then, Chris Ivory and Matt Forte. Because you wouldn't offer Matt Forte.
Well, no, we that's the problem. We got a lot of money issues right now. We have to figure out how we're gonna afford, Wilkerson, this one, that one, and attempt to keep Harrison, even though that doesn't look like it's happening that way.
But then you have Chris Ivy as a punishing back, and that doesn't really hold up for the NFL. And Matt Forte, he's a little more suave.
A little more suave.
A little more suave. What exactly, Jason, is your definition of suave?
Suave.
With that accent mark at the end there on the football field. What defines being, quote, suave, quote, Jason Fernandez, on the football field?
Trying to avoid tackles instead of force and during the contacts. Like Chris Ivy he's a punishing running back.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Forte tries to suave his way past.
Suave his way.
All right, so.
Why do I think of like Victor Cruz salsa dancing when he says suave?
Because you're like hearing Elvis Crespo. Suavemente. That's what you're hearing when he says that. So in other news surrounding the gangrene, we failed to mention this last week, guys. That's my fault. But the Jets did release 11-year vet Antonio Cromartie, and he's expected to meet with the Buffalo Bills. So speaking of the Jets' lack of money, that's about $8 million saved there. But if that pans out for Cromartie, he'll be reuniting with Rex Ryan, under whom he played some of the best football of his career. And the Jets-Bills rivalry continues. But will Ryan get the last laugh? Only time will tell. Hopefully not. We have to avenge some losses from this season.
I know. Big losses.
Big.
Playoff losses,
yes,
pretty much.
Pretty much. Season-defining losses against Rex Ryan.
I feel like Rex Ryan just brings back people from the Jets just to spite the Jets.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's just like, look at me now.
But Tom Brady also did some negotiating this week, agreeing to a 2-year contract extension through 2019 with the New England Patriots. Being 39 currently, the deal would allow him to play into his 40s, which is something he's expressed interest in the past. He'll be 42 to be exact when the contract expires, but that will also give him time to surpass Peyton Manning in a few areas. So Javier, I know that stings a little.
I think Tom Brady, I think he's overestimating. I think time is going to get to him, and he's not going to be able to play for, like he said, he's going to play to 48 or something. I think he could probably see one of his last seasons when he's like 40, 41. I don't even think he's going to get to 41, even though he's in great shape and he's super healthy. I just feel like you never know in this league, especially in football, because it's so injury prone.
Right.
One shot at the knee and he's done.
It's true. Well, I'm always amazed by athletes that play into their 40s, especially these rough, tough sports that, contribute to a lot of wear and tear on the body. Guys like Tim Duncan, for example, like they just show no signs of slowing down. And both of those players have been pretty lucky where health and injury are concerned. So, I mean, if Brady's able to stay healthy in these next 4 years, why not go for it? Especially, if it's a game he loves. But do you think he'll surpass Peyton's records? I mean, he's got 4 years to do it. So,
well, if he stays healthy, I don't think that's really the biggest question. I think if his arm stays with him, like the older you get, the less your arm is effective. Peyton Manning can't throw that far. And I don't think how Tom Brady's going to be able to do it, too.
No, one thing I'll give Tom Brady is he never had to go through, like, 4 neck surgeries, and that's pretty much Peyton Manning's problem. That's why he can't throw as much, just because his whole body is just not the same. But for Tom Brady, I think he could end up passing some records, not all the records.
Mm-hmm.
But I think only time can tell, because I just feel like there's always a chance you get injured in the NFL, and with one injury, you could be out of the league for good.
Of course. Do you think that's something he wants to do, though? Like, in the back of his mind, is he like, man, I have to beat Peyton? Is there, like, that competitive edge there? Yeah.
Did you guys hear him, like, recently, like, text Julian Edelman after he got booed out of the Super Bowl? Like, when he got booed in the Super Bowl, he was like, all these, I can't say it, all these effers hate us. Let's go win it all next year. It's like Tom Brady has this crazy competitive edge about him that no matter what, he wants to win. And that was just an appearance in the Super Bowl just to I won the Super Bowl once, and he's already fiery.
I mean, I would too. I would have that competitive edge, that fire as well, especially after seeing what your team did to Brady, preventing them from getting to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I'd be a little ticked off. I'd want my revenge too.
It was great to watch. I loved it.
It was a great game. It really was a great game. So, Moving on from football.
Oh no, her favorite topic right now.
But
Is
you'd
it
be
really?
surprised.
No, I
Is
mean, it's
is
the
it-
time to talk about it though.
Is it really her favorite topic though?
What, basketball?
Yeah, I mean, in the state of.
No.
Yeah.
See, I have grown from Knicks fan to basketball fan overall, even though my heart is clearly with the disaster that the Knicks are. It's really like being in an abusive relationship. You keep running back. You keep saying, I love you. And you just keep getting hurt in the end, man. You just keep getting hurt. Never turns out the way you want it to. So anyways, we're going to move over, like I said, to my favorite league in sports, the NBA, of course, where something exciting and ridiculous is always happening, whether it's Steph being Steph, dropping 51 points on whoever he feels like it.
Ridiculous.
Or DeMarcus Cousins. You know, when I was going through like highlights this week, I forgot last night, DeMarcus Cousins, I don't know if you saw it, he chucked the ball at Chris Paul's head. This was like last week. But then last night against OKC, well, one, he got in like a little shoving match with Kevin Durant. And then I think it was Steven Adams. He's laid out on the floor and he has like his arm kind of entangled in Cousins' leg. And Cousins literally makes like the formation of a punch and literally swings it at him, but stops right before he gets to his head. And then just like turns around. ESPN Instagrammed it out, SportsCenter, Bleacher Report. He got very, very close to a big, big fine.
And we're talking about the league is soft now. I don't want to hear those conversations anymore.
And listen, it's not soft where DeMarcus Cousins is concerned, but the NBA, it's a great place. And though the New York Knicks continue to trudge through their endless nightmare, we're going to start today with a feel-good story from the Knickerbockers. Well, one player in particular, a young girl by the name of Sam, that's a great name, by the way, set up this awesome arrangement. I don't know if you guys saw it. I have to tweet this out.
I saw it.
You saw it, right?
It was really good.
It was awesome. Of all her Knicks gear with Kristaps Porzingis' jersey in the middle with a sign. And the sign reads, "Hey, Porzingis, take a break from all that dishin' and swishin' and be my number one by styling and profiling all the way to prom with me." Obviously channeling her inner Clyde there. And the best part is that after it, thousands of retweets, Kristaps did respond to her tweet with a video. And here's what he had to say.
Sam, thank you so much for the invitation to your prom. Unfortunately, I will be out of the country at that time, but hope you have a lot of fun without me.
Oh, you're welcome, Kristaps. You're welcome.
It sounded like he was reading off that.
I know, right?
It did. It sounded a little rehearsed.
I mean,
but-
it would have been nice. I don't get why he had to like be so like robotic about it. Like,
Unfortunately.
Sam, thanks for giving me this. Okay.
Don't get on Kristaps, guys. Come on.
And it's probably his English isn't too well yet, so I'm sure he was a little nervous about even.
But it was so sweet.
Is it because you felt like he was talking to you?
I did.
Yeah.
When he started out and he was like, Sam, I was like, yes.
All I gotta say is you gotta step it up. That other Sam has so much
For
Knicks
real.
gear. She is crazy for the Knicks.
She's a
Sam,
fan.
Your graduation is coming up too. Hey,
My graduation?
yeah.
I'm going to invite him over to my house for my graduation
Oh,
party.
for prom.
See, I would, but I actually don't think my ceilings are that tall. So it might be a little difficult for him to get in the house.
It's gonna be beautiful outside. Take him to the park.
Take him to the
watch
park.
for the trees.
Oh my gosh.
You take him to play basketball.
That is so funny. Well, I just thought that was a great story. But actually, on a similar note, Matt Zuccarello of the New York Rangers gave his hockey stick to a young man in the crowd who had a sign that said if he gave it to him, the stick, his girlfriend would go to prom with him. And he gave it to him, right? And on the stick, Zuccarello wrote, "Treat her right," which was really, really cute as well.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, you gotta love stories like that. What we don't love here in New York, of course, is how the Knicks keep losing, which they did to the Miami Heat on Sunday, 98-81. And apparently, I don't know if you guys heard this story. I'm going to explain it. There were some shots fired at Carmelo Anthony by former Knicks star Amare Stoudemire. So after the game, this is what was said. Amare was talking to reporters. You know, it's a time for him to kind of like reminisce on his time in New York. And somehow the topic of Jeremy Lin comes up. And Amare says if Lin stayed, it would have been cool. But everyone wasn't a fan of him being a new star. So he didn't stay long. Jeremy was a great guy, great teammates. He worked hard. He put the work in. And he finished by saying he was becoming a star, and I don't think everyone was pleased with that. Okay? So supposedly those are shots at Carmelo. I guess pretty much saying Carmelo pushed him out of New York.
I think we're reading way too into that. I think the media misconstrued that, like the media always does sometimes.
Of course.
I mean, I'm part of the media, but I just feel like sometimes we take things overboard. And
yeah, for
I think it was a
controversy.
shot pretty much at the league, because at the league at the time was just saying, oh, they're only making a big deal because he's Asian and he's not that good of a player. I feel like that was the hype around the league, and I think the media just misconstruing it, saying, trying to get Melo ticked off again.
He left because they couldn't afford what he was asking for.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And the Knicks didn't want to pay the luxury tax.
Mm-hmm.
But what did Melo say back?
So Anthony replied, okay, and he said to the media, because he replied to the media and then he posted some things on Instagram, which we'll get into. He replied to the media. He said if that were the case, he'd be jealous of Porzingis right now, because Porzingis is the fan favorite. Adding that he didn't even think Stoudemire was referring to him. But apparently, Mark Berman actually said that Anthony then turned around as he was leaving and said to the reporters, I hold you in a higher regard than this. Like basically saying, I think more of you than to be stirring up this controversy between me and my former teammate. But then, seeming like, that seems like it's squashed, right? Like, okay, Carmelo's done with this. So then he goes on Instagram and he posts these 3 quotes. One of them saying, if you lead the sucker down a familiar path, he won't catch on when you lead him into a trap. Among other things that he tweeted. So it seemed like Carmelo was kind of salty about the situation, but it was kind of difficult to determine whether he was salty about the media or actually he was directing his comments back at Stoudemire. And it's just a weird situation, because from my perspective anyway, it's like, okay, I know Carmelo has this kind of aura surrounding him of being this selfish player and wanting to be the star, which I think he's pretty much dispelled this season with the way he's been mentoring Porzingis. But then from the other perspective, I wonder how Amare felt when Carmelo stepped in and took his team, because that was Amare's team. Carmelo steps in, becomes a star. Obviously, they never meshed well on the court, right? Bringing Melo in was supposed to be, you had your little big 3, you had Amare, you had Melo, you had Tyson, and they were the ones that were supposed to bring the Knicks to the next step. They made the playoffs a few years, but clearly those 2 stars never meshed on the court. But were they meshing as friends as well? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that there was actual beef between Melo and Amare, or not necessarily beef, just a lack of chemistry between them play-wise and, personally? Or do you think that, like you guys said, the media just ran away with this one? I guess they had nothing else better to do to say about the Knicks, because how much more can you say? They're losing. They're horrible. They need a new point guard. And,
What do you think, Jason?
Is it a media ploy?
I think the feud between Melo and
this
Stoudemire,
quote feud.
I don't think there is a feud. I just think that Melo was kind of mad at that he keeps being looked at as a player that doesn't want another person to shine. When clearly he always done it. He wanted Jeremy Lin to play more. Melo was never against him playing less. So he recommended him playing. That's why he started playing more. I don't think Melo's that type of player to hate.
Yeah, I don't think Melo's that type of player either. I think it's more of when your team's losing, the media is gonna say the media is gonna try to blame someone, and I think the blame game goes, oh, Melo and Stoudemire couldn't click because Melo doesn't like Stoudemire because he's also a star. No, I mean that's not the case. When you're winning, none of that's happening. When you're winning, nobody's saying, oh, they just have a clash of personalities. Like Golden State right now, you don't see anybody supposedly having a clash of personalities and things like that.
They're just 5 players that just blend well perfectly. So
exactly. So if we saw Carmelo and Stoudemire have that type, well, if they played when they were playing together, if they had that type of style where it just meshed well, then you don't think there's any chemistry problems. The only time when we start thinking, oh, there's chemistry problems is when it doesn't show on the court and you see 2 athletes who are supposedly very good at their position, And I think that's the problem. They just didn't mesh well on the court, and it doesn't translate to just having bad chemistry.
If they didn't like each other, they would act the same way James Harden and Dwight Howard act with each other. You see how they act, jumping up, I mean, that didn't happen when they played with each other. So I just think the media is tired of writing about reports about the Knicks lose again. So they just had to stir it up and make it more interesting. Because how many times you're going to write and people going to read about the Knicks losing? Like, Samantha, when was the last time you read an article about the Knicks lost again and why and how?
I plead the fifth. I have avoided writing articles about the Knicks. I'm not going to lie. Listen, it's very difficult to find euphemisms to say the Knicks are terrible every single time. It's awful. But I agree with you guys. I do think it was a media ploy. And apparently so does Amare, because Amare then took to his Instagram. I love how, like, can players, like, pick up a phone and be like, bro, you know I love you, right?
Botini.
Right, like, I don't understand what this whole Instagram nonsense is about.
I think it's like more entertainment now. I think they like having the fans.
I guess,
like
because Amare then goes to Instagram and says, recollect your thoughts, recollect your thoughts. Don't get caught up in the mix because the media is full of dirty tricks. But what I found interesting was that the caption says something along the lines of, I've been hearing a lot about my bro. And there was a comment under it that was saying, yeah, you defend Jeremy Lin. And I'm like, wait a second, he's talking about Carmelo, no?
Yeah.
No? Okay. So, there's some confusion there, I guess. Pretty sure he's talking about Carmelo and just trying to, mend whatever controversy whichever one of them thinks there is between them. Obviously, Amare is on the side of, no, okay, this is just a ploy by the media. The media says whatever they want to say. And us, the fans, we either decide to go along with it or we decide to make sense of it, which I think we made sense of it. That's just what the media does. Let's not be that media, guys. Let's dispel all the rumors right here. So on that note, not much else to say about the Knicks except their playoff hopes are as dead as a doornail. And I pretty much just wish Kurt Rambis would stop playing Sasha Vujacic. I can't watch it any longer. It hurts my soul. Why he's out there on the floor, I don't understand. And I also don't understand why this guy, Jimmer Fredette, gets 0 playing time. The man is on a 10-day contract. I don't even know how many days ago that was, but he's only got a few days left. I mean, you have to play him at some point, right?
That's true.
Yeah, if he wasn't on the Knicks, he would have been playing already.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, you should say because he's on the Knicks, they're not making the playoffs, so he should be playing regardless.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense to me.
They could offer him another 10 days before they have to.
Yeah, but it's just like Rambis. Rambis came into this, said, we're going to make the playoffs. That's our goal. You're not making the playoffs, dude. You're not. So let's get rid of that. Let's take that off the table. I'm not saying don't play competitively. I'm not. Something that amazes me with the Nets.
The Nets?
The Nets. They're not making the playoffs. 0, not happening, 0 chance. They play competitively every night, and I know because I watch the games at work. The way they played against the Clippers last night was admirable compared to the 30-point blowout they handed the Knicks. So I'm not saying don't play competitively, but I'm saying get the other guys in there. Put Jerian Grant in more often. You want to develop him as a point guard you guys want for the future? Put him in. Play him. He's fast. He's athletic. Put him in. Stop playing Sasha. Put Galloway in. Stop playing Jose. Get him off my team. Hopefully. I'm begging. And we'll see what the future of the Knicks franchise holds. I mean, all we can really do is wait till the offseason and see if we could bring in some free agents. Knicks will...
For those Knicks fans, you can always watch the Golden State Warriors and see if they break the record.
Whatever, man. The Knicks are going to face Damian Lillard and the Blazers tonight at the Garden. Pretty sure Brock is excited about that one.
He's super pumped about that.
Some big news for the Nets, though. They waived Mr. Clutch, Joe Johnson, and he was picked up by the Miami Heat, who had 12 points against the Knicks in his debut with his new ball club. So, on to the good stuff, which you guys did not talk to me about. So, I picked them out.
The top 5.
Our top 5 sports performances of the week, and some question marks we need to discuss when we get to them. Honorable mention goes to Avery Bradley's monster dunk on Gordon Hayward in the Celtics' 100-95 win over the Utah Jazz last night. The Celtics have now won 4 straight and maintained the 3rd seed in the East. Don't know where they came from.
I know,
but
right?
I
was not expecting that.
Nope. They really, honestly, snuck up from like 8th to 3rd in a very, very short amount of time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They're playing really good.
Yeah, they are. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do in the playoffs. Speaking of competitive teams, they're a very competitive team. Coming in at number 5, Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, passes the mailman Karl Malone for 6th on the NBA all-time rebounding list with 14,969, and he also recorded his 3,000th block.
Duncan.
I love Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I love Duncan.
Love
He's like the
Tim
epitome of class, you know?
Yes.
I mean, he plays classy. He acts classy on the court. He's well-spoken. I don't know. He's like the poster boy for the NBA.
Yes.
He's the Peyton Manning.
Well,
Right now, we have a bunch of allegations
yeah,
against
exactly.
Peyton.
Not right now. Somebody in our Periscope over here actually before was commenting. He said, "You mean tainted Manning?" So we have a few issues there that need to be worked out.
Well, it's allegations.
You're right.
It is
but
allegations. Let's not.
The way the media works today is that little stain is always going to be on his record, sadly.
Not for Javier.
Not for Javier, of course.
No, I'll
not for
admit.
Manning fans, but
Manning's awesome, though.
no, he is.
Yeah, Eli is definitely the man, right? Eli.
Yeah.
No, but right, Peyton Manning, okay. That look, Samantha gave me.
It's
Just
a look
burn
right
through the
now,
glass.
guys.
Just
Samantha's
burn
not
through
saying
the
anything,
glass.
but
Excuse the
look.
dead air. I had to shoot the death look in his direction. So coming in at number 4, a hockey play. The girls over at Throw Like a Girl Radio would be proud. Derek Stepan's game-winning goal against the Blue Jackets Monday night. The Rangers have gotten their 3rd consecutive win. Coming in at number 3, and going into this one, or coming out of it rather, we're going to have a little discussion about the Cavaliers. Coming in at number 3, Kyle Lowry records a career-high 43 points, including the game-winning shot in the Raptors' 99-97 win over the Cavs Friday night. So speaking of the Cavs, the big question surrounding them, or several questions rather, is basically, in a nutshell, what is going on with them? They did beat the Pacers last night, 100-96, but not before being blown out by the 10th seed Washington Wizards the game before. And that game, LeBron didn't play. Then early yesterday morning, apparently Stephen A. Smith broke news that Kyrie Irving is supposedly, and I'm going to put supposedly there because I don't know how true this is, unhappy about his situation in Cleveland and would prefer to play elsewhere. So there's a slew of issues here to discuss. For one, the Cavs aren't a dominant team in the league, right?
Yeah,
they're dominant in the East, but they're not dominant in the league, which is weird.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think.
I mean, it's not weird. The East is just really bad.
No, but you always have LeBron and the Cavs or LeBron and the Heat in this forefront, in the news, in the media. I mean, obviously Steph Curry has taken total control over the media's gaze, but they're not dominant. They're not dominant the way Golden State is, or even the Spurs for that matter. Even though we tend to ignore the Spurs sometimes because they're just so consistently incredible, it's expected of them. So they're not dominant. And then when you get blown out without LeBron, what does that say about, what you're going to do in the playoffs? What if LeBron isn't at 100% in the playoffs? He gets injured. He has to sit. What then? Obviously, the Cavs aren't going anywhere. So, and then there's the Kyrie Irving issue. Much like we were talking about before with the Knicks, there's a chemistry issue with that big three. There always has been since they got together. Kyrie, LeBron, Kevin Love being the big three. It doesn't seem to be working, right? As for Kyrie, I think personally that he needs to be able to facilitate the game a little better. He's averaging 4 assists per game, which is less than, the elite point guards in the game now. And I mean, he's doing well scoring, but it just doesn't seem like he's doing his part to make the players around him better.
Yeah.
He's not that type of point guard, though. He's a scoring point guard.
And that much I understand. But when you have scorers like Kevin Love and LeBron, you got to be able to facilitate that game and bring it to them.
Maybe he doesn't know how to.
You getting paid millions of dollars, you better learn.
I mean, he's not that crisp. Chris Paul will fit great with the Cavs. I mean, Russell Westbrook even passes the ball better than Kyrie. And Kyrie Irving, I think he got drafted number 1 and he only played 12 games in the college. So he didn't really develop much in college. So he got still in the NBA. And what he does in the NBA is score.
Well, to be honest, what I think the problem is Kevin Love. I keep going back to Kevin Love, and I see LeBron James. Like, LeBron James would drive to the basket, pass it out to Kevin Love, and then Kevin Love's hesitant. I mean, you're part of the big three. You have to make those shots, and I don't know. I just feel like Kevin Love is playing too hesitant, and I think that's where most of the frustration is coming from, because you have these three great players, but Kevin Love seems to not be that player that you're looking for, especially when it's going to become playoff times. You're going to need that big shot from Kevin Love, and if he's not there to do it, LeBron's going to have to sort of be on his own again like he was last season, where he was sort of holding the load in the playoffs. And if that's the case again, I don't think the Cavs have a shot.
Well, I agree. I definitely agree with Javier. I always think Kevin Love has been at the center of this issue as well, whether it was, there being some sort of rift between LeBron and Kevin Love and them not being friends, or remember LeBron had to send out those tweets to like inspire Kevin Love to be better, which was awkward again with the tweets. Like, you can't just have a meeting with your bro or your not bro and tell him like, come on, man. You're getting paid how much? And do you remember how sought after he was as a free agent?
Yeah.
And he's not doing his part.
They traded away Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love, basically. And Wiggins is a nice player. And he was under control for a long time. And not that much. He wasn't expensive either. Now you bring in Kevin Love. He's bringing that big contract. When you have Tristan Thompson, who could have done that, and just had Andre. Am I saying his name? What's his first name? Wiggins?
Andrew Wiggins.
All right, yeah. He played defense. He's a little athletic. I never agree with that trade, because what if Kevin Love didn't re-sign with the Cavs this year? It would have been just 1 year. So they got really lucky with Kevin Love doing that.
Yeah.
I think it just seems overall the Cavs have some sort of chemistry issue, whether it's with a coach, David Blatt, and LeBron, even though LeBron seems to be at the center of all these issues too.
It's a Cleveland thing. Cleveland.
No, but I think when LeBron was first with the Cavs, you didn't see these problems. I think he didn't have the role players that he needed to succeed when he was first with the Cavs. And now he has those role players, and we're still seeing all these problems with them. And that just brings the question, is it LeBron, or is it the surrounding cast, or is it LeBron frustrated with the surrounding cast? That's what I'm confused about here.
But you're relying on J.R. Smith as a role player.
Yeah, maybe they need more leaders if you think about it. I mean, because LeBron is pretty much their own leader. If you have J.R. Smith, I mean, J.R. Smith's a veteran, but he's never been a leader.
J.R. Smith is no leader. I can say this from experience. Watching him play with the Knicks, he's not a leader. I mean, I imagine he's not up to his same shenanigans, untying of the shoelaces nonsense over there in Cleveland. But J.R. is not your go-to guy to look to for inspiration or anything.
Exactly. And I think when LeBron was with the Heat, I think Dwayne Wade was a great leader as well. So
for sure.
I think they had a great thing going there because they had Bosh. I mean, Bosh was a good role player, but I mean, I don't think he was necessarily a leader, but I think what they had was good chemistry, and it was never like somebody was missing or there was like a chemistry issue. And I feel like it's different when he went to the Cavs.
How can you not be happy when you live in Miami?
Very true.
Agreed.
They live in Cleveland. It's
but that has nothing to do with it.
No, that's LeBron's hometown.
Yeah,
I'm sure
exactly.
he loves it there.
He does.
Well, the rest of the team is just going to have to suck it up if that's the issue. But I literally just think it's some chemistry issue between that big three and whatever's going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. But clearly the Cavs need to get it together. And I want to see the Raptors really, really give them a run for their money in the playoffs because the Raptors have great chemistry.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And I think they're only 3 games back from the Cavs. They're second in the Eastern Conference. So it will be interesting to see what they do to the Cavs in the playoffs if they, face each other. I'd like to see them, if not beat them, give a little wear and tear on them. But even
I think they got a good shot.
If that's the case, then they're going to get blown out by Golden State anyway. So, all right. I guess we'll find out what happens to the Cavs. I mean, obviously, they're going to be in the playoffs. So, we'll see if the pressure of the playoffs whips them into shape.
It's crazy because they're going through all this drama, all stuff, right? And they're still 42-17, number 1 in the Eastern Conference.
Right.
I know it's so crazy to think about it that they just like lost one of their coaches. Their coach just got fired, and it's just like they're still number 1. I mean, they're still playing pretty good basketball if you think about it. But you can tell. I think it's just we're so accustomed to seeing LeBron James being so effective and like having his teammates so involved that for us to not see it come as easy, I think it's tough for us to watch and not say, oh, there's a problem there.
Yeah, and I think it's like we were saying before too. I think it's just weird because Steph has just so taken control of the league as the best player, best shooter, Golden State being the best team. That okay, cool. The Cavs may be winning, but it's like that spotlight on LeBron and just LeBron being the star isn't there anymore. It's slowly but surely fading, and it's a strange dynamic happening.
I feel like I've never seen something like this in the NBA. From like one season to the next, like just like 2 years ago when LeBron just joined the Cavs,
Yeah.
it was like the biggest story. Anything LeBron did was the biggest story, and I feel like we've never seen such a transition where out of nowhere an athlete just becomes a superstar like that. I mean, we saw Steph Curry in the league before, and he wasn't a superstar like he is now. But that transition, for me, I've never seen it. Even when Kobe was the star and LeBron was sort of getting there, I felt like it was a longer transition, and we would still talk about Kobe. I feel like now, I never hear LeBron anymore. I hear LeBron tweeting about Steph Curry. That's the most news I get about LeBron.
Yes. We're gonna get to that. So coming in at number 2, let's get back to 2. The Mavericks' Dwight Powell throws down, a monster jam over reigning dunk champ Zach LaVine in their 128-101 victory over the Timberwolves. But that has nothing, absolutely nothing, on number 1. And I wish someone was tweeting me, telling me what number 1 is, because as I said in the intro, if you get this wrong, obviously you have not been watching what's going on in sports. You have not turned on any news channel ever this week. Because coming in at number 1, shall we play it?
Let's do it.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining.
Bang.
Okay. So I was at work when this happened. And if you guys don't know what happened, that was Steph Curry's game winner against OKC, which was a phenomenal game. I don't know if you guys watched it. It was a phenomenal game. And he set a new record for most threes made in a season.
He broke his own
He
record.
broke his own record.
He still has 2 more months.
It's unbelievable what he's doing. But I was at work watching this game, and I was logging the Nets. I don't know, but it was so difficult because like one screen is on the left and then OKC and Golden State are on the right, and like I'm trying to make one eye go to the right and one eye go to the left. It just wasn't working, and I saw that and I was just like, man, he just makes it look so easy. It doesn't even make any sense. It's like he could pull up from anywhere on the court and it would just be normal for him.
They call it 32 feet jump shot, or 32 foot jump shot. My bad.
No, it's okay. It's like any other player in the league takes that shot, even if it's a 2, and like, oh, that was a dumb shot. Steph Curry could pull up from anywhere, and it's just like, oh, that's just Steph. It doesn't make sense.
And it's crazy because if you think about like a couple years ago, like if the coach would allow a player to even take that shot, the coach would be outraged if he took that shot. And it's like, we don't even see that like backlash from Steve Kerr. Like, you can't be doing that. It's like, no, I mean, just do it. You're going to make it regardless.
It's incredible.
It's
what
ridiculous.
He's doing.
And it's so crazy. It felt like we were in the playoffs already because the way people were talking about it, the atmosphere of that game was just insane. I was listening to it on the radio on my way home, and it was just so insane.
Golden State clinches a playoff spot in February.
I know. That is crazy.
That's amazing.
They actually play the Thunder again on Thursday. So that matchup should be great.
In Golden State?
Yeah, in Golden State. I feel like they're going to kill them in Golden State.
Yo, you think they have you think they believe in themselves that they could beat the Golden State Warriors?
Again?
Okay. OKC? Yes, for sure. They have Russell Westbrook, point blank period. Russell Westbrook gets angry, and I love him for that. He's going to come in, and he's going to kill. I'm not saying they're going to win. I don't know. Because if Steph does that again, I don't know how you guard this man. You can't beat him. I'm sorry. You cannot guard him for 4 quarters of a game. There's no way. I mean, look at his stats. His stats over the last 3 games, 46.3 points, 7 assists. Who cares about the rebound? Someone else can do that. 9.3 3-pointers, 60% from the field, 65.1% from 3. Those are his stats over the last 3 games.
He tied the 3-point record too with that shot to beat the OKC
He's
with 12.
superhuman. It doesn't make sense.
I think he's gonna get bored that he's gonna start shooting with his left hand to see how
Why
good he
not?
is.
Throw it backwards with his eyes closed. I don't care. I don't care.
Do you guys think he should get the unanimous MVP? Like
Yes.
everybody should vote for him?
Yes.
It's never been done in the league before,
Yes.
but do you guys think
Who
so?
else could it possibly go to?
Yeah, I don't see anybody else either. I could just see like one of the voters just being like, forget Steph Curry. He's gonna
Yeah,
get it
being
anyway.
a hater. A hater. You guys know
Oscar Roberts.
No. My boyfriend's an OKC fan.
Oh yeah. Oh, he must have been devastated.
I couldn't even talk to him. I texted him. I was like, I'm so sorry. And he wrote me back. He wrote me back a period. A period. He was like, I cannot talk right now. And I'm pretty sure he didn't even say goodnight. He went to sleep.
That's great.
I felt so awful.
I could make a case for Damian Lillard.
Yeah,
But they're in
Even though
seventh
he's
place.
balling.
If the team was a little better, maybe in third place, I could make a case.
In a
that's
different
my-
season.
But that's my only argument with Dame is that he's the only person there to score. Of course, his stat sheets are
And-
going to be,
He's taking it to another level and brought his team to a team that should have not been in the playoff race is in the playoff.
Well, that's for sure. I feel like when they dismantled the Trailblazers, we were all like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
they're going to be horrible. And Dame has pushed them over the limit a little bit. So that's our number one sports play of the week. If you thought it was going to be something else, if you even still think it should be something else, I don't know, schedule an appointment with your doctor, your physician, because you might have a little brain damage. I'm sorry to tell you. So in our next segment, what we're going to do, we're going to put a little shine on our own school. The Brooklyn College men's basketball team defeated Baruch,
Let's go.
Yes.
right, for the
That-
CUNY championship.
That's my case for number one.
That you know
I'm gonna
what?
schedule an appointment with my doctor.
You should. You should. But here's what the coach of the men's basketball team had to say. And thank you. Our very own Jason Fernandez got this for us.
Our bump and stick said Brooklyn College basketball, we're going places. And we certainly did. Pressure's always on to win it. Whatever team you have.
I liked the little dramatic music you put there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
that was pretty good.
I'm-
So, Jason, you were at the game, right?
Yes.
Fill us in. How was the game?
Well, I am the beat reporter for the Bulldogs.
Uh-oh.
Don't let nobody else tell you that they lying. They will have to go see a doctor.
For my Kingsman.
Oh yes, for the Kingsmen.
If
my-
only you worked for a better newspaper.
No.
I have
I'm
the best
sports editor.
in the world.
Ah.
She even gives me a mic to talk.
I said.
Well, the Brooklyn College came in. The women's made it to the CUNYAC championship too as well, but they unfortunately fell. But congratulations to them. They lost in overtime. But the men's Bulldogs beat a team that they lost to last year in double overtime, Baruch, and it was a very exciting game the first half. But the second half, the 7 seniors in the team, Chris McElhatton, Exxon Jumbalaj, Lorenzo Williams, who won the MVP, took over the second half, and it wasn't really a close game. That Baruch started fouling, hoping that the Brooklyn Bulldogs will miss some free throws. They missed a little bit.
I saw some of it. Yeah, they were missing a couple free throws. I'm like, just steal this game already.
Yeah, they were winning by a lot, and it went down to 69-60, but then they took over, and they really just sealed it. And with a couple of seconds left, Coach Rich McAuliffe, substitute, this is second year, winning a CUNY championship is amazing. Took out the seniors, and they got a big round of applause. They won. Everybody stormed the court. Fans stormed the court.
I always
That
wanted
sounds
to do that.
awesome.
That sounds so much fun.
I was video taking pictures and video recording.
Yeah, he
so,
took some great pictures for the
so-
paper. We appreciate it, Jason.
So I couldn't really do what I wanted to do, but that they pour a bucket on the coach.
That's
it was
awesome.
Yes, it was really amazing.
All right,
And
so
does
go
Brooklyn
ahead.
College, do they go to the Division III
Are they going to?
tournament?
Yes, they. Oh no, they going. Yeah, the
NCAA Division III tournament, right?
NCAA. Not,
Yeah.
And it was also a night where they honored the final, the Brooklyn Bulldogs.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that. The
1982.
1982 champs, and they nicknamed
No.
the Kingsmen, right?
Yeah, they're not champs. They made it to the Final Four.
Right, Final Four. That was it.
Also, AKA the Kingsmen.
The Kingsmen, my newspaper.
My newspaper.
Not the Excelsior.
Our newspaper. Our
The
newspaper.
Kingsmen.
Okay.
All right, so shout outs to the Brooklyn College men's basketball team. I'd like to see what that MVP Lorenzo Williams does going forward. I know he wants to continue playing basketball, so
that's true.
should keep an eye on him.
Congratulations to the 7 seniors for graduating.
Right.
I know. I'm a little worried. What are we gonna have in store for next season? We had such great seniors.
Just enjoy the moment. Just enjoy the moment.
All right, so now it's time for our recap of the show. Moving quickly all around the world of sports. We're in basketball, so let's stay there briefly. With their loss to the Wizards last night, the Philadelphia Sixers were officially eliminated from the playoffs, whereas the Warriors, as we mentioned, no surprise here, became the fastest team in history to clinch a playoff berth. So moving along to the ice, the Rangers, as mentioned, won their third consecutive win with a 2-1 victory over the Blue Jackets, and did so with a new addition to their team. The Rangers acquired Eric Stahl from the Hurricanes, who just happens to be the brother of current Ranger Mark Stahl. Eric said that this was a move he felt in his gut he needed to do. Here's what he had to say in his Rangers debut.
A ton of emotion, obviously, from the moment the trade happened, but it's been positive since that moment. It's been a lot of fun coming here and joining this group. It's a great group of guys that made me feel real welcome right off the bat, and it feels real nice to get the win. That's what we're for.
Got the W. Good stuff. So let's see what he can add to a very excited Rangers team. In baseball, here's a fun fact. Yoenis Cespedes isn't just into buying fancy cars. He's also into buying pigs. The Mets' beloved slugger bought a 270-pound champion hog at a county fair, and all I can think of is Pumbaa from The Lion King whenever I say that.
Me, Mobet.
It's very weird, but we'll keep you posted with some baseball news.
I want to know if he's going to cook it.
I don't think he's a champion hog. You don't just cook a champion hog.
I know, that is messed up.
That would be odd, weird, and I'd be really concerned for your team, honestly.
Bacon?
Go to the store and get some bacon. You guys are strange.
That's a champion bacon.
Cespedes is just a character,
Yeah, he's
isn't he?
weird. He's weird. He's weird.
A new
Javier.
car
Just say
every
it.
day.
It's okay. He hits home runs.
That's true.
This is true. So finally, this weekend in boxing, Terrence Crawford defeated Hank Lundy to keep his junior welterweight belt. And the up-and-coming Puerto Rican star, El Bori, Felix Verdejo, defeated William Silva. So now on to our final segment of the day. Javier is back with an untold sports story.
All right, guys. So as we all know, baseball season is back. Everybody's in spring training. And with spring training there are flocks of Dominican players who are getting their shot in the league.
No, really?
Yes, we know. Dominican players, a lot of them in baseball. But I just wanted to shine a light on how there's only a 2% chance of Dominican players actually making it into the league. So a lot of these players, they get recruited straight from DR, and they come to these American teams and play in their minor league teams. And then if they get an injury, they're completely cut off the team. They have to go back to DR. They usually don't even finish their education. So they're going back to DR, and they have no education. And a lot of them, there's a short documentary on Vice Sports about them working in gasoline station and things like that. And there's now more of an initiative to make sure that while they're in spring training, they're still getting education, and they're still hopefully getting their high school degree and their college degrees. So hopefully we'll see more of that and more chances for Dominican players, and just so they know that it's not only just baseball that's out there for them, and they have a real shot of actually making it with their lives with actual college degrees as well. So yeah, I just wanted to shine a little light on that. What do you guys think?
I think that's crazy. The 2% is the stat that kind of caught my attention there, because obviously you look at baseball and you feel like the majority of everyone is Dominican players. Like when you associate race with sports, and I'm sorry, we all do this. It's like Hispanics are good at baseball. You got the whole white quarterback thing. It's just Dominicans, baseball, they go together, right?
Yeah, but you got to remember, there's so many of these players who are trying to make it because baseball is such a big thing in the DR that a lot of them aren't going to make it, because there's also players here who are Dominican, born in the U.S. and wanting to make it in the league too. So it's such a slim shot of them actually making it into the MLB. But there's this hope that they all feel, and it's sort of like a lie in a way, you know?
Oh, yeah, Jason?
I'm speechless. I mean, it's... Because I don't really know about... I know that the Dominican players, what they use is they throw pebbles at and use a broomstick without just the stick part to hit the...
I was so confused as to what you were just talking about right now. Say that again?
All right, so how they practice is they grab little pedals and they throw it underhand to the person with the bat, but instead of a bat, they use the stick of a broom, and then they swing it and try to hit the pebble. So it helps them hit a bigger object with a bigger object.
I feel like a lot of broken windows happened with that
That's-
practice.
Oh, well, I thought you were talking about my English.
Oh my, what? Jason, just go ahead. What were you saying?
See, when I talk, it doesn't come out that easily. The flows. So when you interrupt, see, anyways. No, but I think they need to be more educated on the fact that they need more than just baseball. That's what they teach student athletes here, that it's not a guarantee, so you need to be educated. Go ahead.
Even though there's a big controversy around that as well, because a lot of these players are one and done. They do their 1 year and then they go, and a lot of them don't even go to their classes because they know, listen, I'm going to get paid millions next year in the NBA.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that we're talking about, the Dominican Republic when it's happening here too. Like, honestly, what are we teaching those student athletes? We're not teaching them, school is important. We're teaching them, you just have to do this and then you can get your millions. You know what I'm saying? There's those very few athletes that decide to stick around the 3-4 years of college. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, and that's the problem. They don't think long term because right after you're done with the league, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you have all this money, but if you haven't invested it, if you don't know the right techniques to where to put your money, then you got to kind of get a job outside of it. And if you don't have a degree, it's going to be tough for that to actually happen.
You can do what Larry Fitzgerald did. Get his diploma when he was in, he's getting his college diploma now off of Phoenix.
I always, really commend people that go to school and finish what they started later in life. It's hard to do. Like, even for people who just take a year or two off, it's hard to get back into that.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. That's what I did.
Oh, shout out to Jason.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's nice of you.
So that was it's interesting, like I said, that you picked that story because it's so focused on DR but thanks to Jason pointing that out, it happens here too, It definitely happens here too. Especially with basketball lately. You've been hearing a lot of stories or controversy about that, about what exactly it is we're teaching student athletes. And it's not the value of education. It's really not. So
if future students want to get a good education and good playing sports, they should try to attend Brooklyn College and the Bulldogs.
can't say how much that's going to help them when they want to make it to the NBA on their resume. Unfortunately, that's not usually the way it goes.
Stepping stones.
But, I mean, listen, I don't know if that rule is ever going to get changed about making it mandatory for,
Players to graduate.
Or even just at least stay the 2 years, and have to go to all their classes.
But it's difficult for those players because they need to make money for their family to survive and stuff. There's situations out there that's hard.
Yeah, there's definitely certain situations where you understand it. And that's just the way it is, whether or not there's going to be rule changes.
Well, in the baseball, you could, at 16, you could sign with an organization, start playing minor league baseball.
But then the problem is you get cut like these Dominican players, and then you don't have a high school education.
Well, that's why the Dominican players are thinking this way, that they could go straight to the minor league system and start playing and develop there.
But I think that's flawed in its way too, because then you don't make the league. You get one injury, your career's done. Then what are you doing with your life? You're not putting them in the right direction.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right. So on that note, unless we had anything else,
a little depressing to end it.
No.
All right, but it's been a good season.
Yeah, right. We started with all these phenomenal players, and it's
Bulldogs champions.
Yeah.
CUNY champs.
So that's all we have for you guys today. We'll be back with you next Tuesday, and every Tuesday. Jason won't be with us because he has a doctor's appointment.
I do.
Yeah, actually scheduled that
doctor.
appointment because he doesn't think that Steph deserves the #1 spot in our top 5 plays of the week. So Jason won't be with us, but me and Javier will still be with you next Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. and every Tuesday until the end of the semester. Thank you for tuning in to SHES Mic'd Up Radio. We'll be back.
Laters.
Bye.
Better be coming with no strings. We need some really nice things. We need some really big rings. I got a really big team. They need some really big